Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever the time of the day you are. I want to welcome everyone to today's Youth and Singles Talk Show. Very excited to be your host today, and I'd like for you to please share this video. Share with your friends. If you're in the group, you may actually not be able to share it from the Youth and Singles Facebook group, but you can go to our page, the Youth and Singles page. You can actually share that to your friends so that they can actually be part of this conversation. You know, I have all my guests in the house, in the studio today, and I'm super excited to have this wonderful crew here. Oh, wow. Shout hallelujah, somebody.
Hallelujah.
Turn it to service.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to bless God. I want to bless God for this wonderful people. We're going to be discussing a very important issue that has been plaguing humanity right from the time immemorial. And that is issues of sexual abuse and rape. This is a very serious issue. And honestly speaking, I've been able to actually bring these three people. I know there are lots and lots, but God has favored me to actually be able to have them to be part of this show. So, viewers, welcome our guest tonight. Pray. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. I believe you can give them a round of applause. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. Yeah, so today we have Mrs. Olubukola Hadassah, popularly known as Mrs. Kush. She's a mother. Like I was telling them before we started this show, I said, see, I did actually ask them to send their profiles because these are people with, some people when they write their CV, 3, 4, 5 pages, you are still reading. So,
That should be big news.
So in order to save the time, I said, well, all I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys what I know about them. I know, well, these are familiar faces to some of us, and some of us might not be familiar with probably some of them. So I have Mrs. Olubukola Hadassah, Mrs. Kush. She's a mother, first of all. Yeah, she's a mother. She's a wife. But there is something that actually, all these people I brought today, there are things that actually attracted them to me. Is it them to me or me to them? Yeah, something attracted.
Anyhow.
So what really attracted them to me was who is this woman that is always talking about train the boys? And I said, Madam Kush, now only boys the people we must train.
As in the attack. The attack is not here.
Yeah, but honestly, she's so passionate about training
That's true.
the boy child. You know, the emphasis has always been on girls, my girls, so train the girls, train the girls. It's like putting the whole pressure on the girl.
Exactly.
But she's an advocate, a very strong one. She has
Strong
her
one.
YouTube, yeah, she has her YouTube channel. You can search it out, Train the Boys. When you say train the boys, there's nobody you are talking about. You are talking about Mrs. Olubukola. Yeah, yeah, she's also a student. She's increasing in knowledge, and she's happily married with a husband and kids, and so madam, welcome to this talk show.
I'm happy to be here.
Great. Then
Yeah.
to my left, I have is it top left now? Yeah, or right left, depending on what you are seeing on the screen. Yeah. So I have Mo. I didn't even ask you what's the full meaning of that Mo. Maybe she'll tell us later. I know I always call her Mo, Miss Mo or Moregee. She's I also got to know her through her write-ups. There are people you meet, you talk, you chat, and after a while you get so used to each other that you think that you've really, really met.
Yeah.
But thank God, God is actually bringing Moregee close. She's just 2 hours from where I live now. So a time will come where I don't even need to drive 1 hour to actually talk to her. So she's so passionate about things about the youth. She's an author, she's a writer, she's an advocate.
Wow.
She
Wow.
also sings. It's just the idea. I didn't give you time to sing today, but if you go check her Facebook page, you're gonna see, wow, she's actually a gifted singer. And by the way, she's also one of the contributing authors to our blog, to the
Wow.
Youth and Singles blog. Yeah, if
Wow,
you check
okay.
youthandsingles.com, she's actually one of our contributing authors. Two of her, the two articles she actually published. Yeah, I'm still expecting more. So, yeah, let him do the chase, and the other one, keep moving. He's taking. They are
Wow.
powerful,
Wow.
powerful
Wow.
write-up that if you
Powerful.
check, yeah,
Powerful.
if you check
Powerful.
the blog, thousands of people have actually visited, read that
Wow.
article. So I'm so really blessed
Wow.
tonight to have Moregee Idowu on the platform. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. It's my
Welcome.
pleasure to be here. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Great. And I have my personal person, my friend, a bishop in the house, bishop of all bishops. When you sometimes his name sounds like MBA, like a degree.
Like a qualification.
His name sounds like a degree, when you say BBA, Bachelor's of Business Administration.
Wow, that is awesome.
Wow. But I have his name is beloved by Bayonle Adeleke. He's a minister, he's a man of God. He's
Oh, bless God.
he's a mentor. There was time he started this, he pioneered the men and mentors in government, that is in Gospel Faith Mission International. He's a volunteer to the core. Volunteering to you in UK or in Canada is something we're used to. Volunteering is not something very common in Nigeria, but BBA is so passionate about volunteering that if you visit our convention, himself and his team, in fact, he can sacrifice his life for that team. He's doing, I don't know, we need to start giving out award in this talk show. Honestly, he really he deserves not just an accolade, he deserves an award. He's doing it passionately. And he's married. He has a loving wife. I wish I could also bring the wife to this show. Honestly, she's a very passionate woman. And And one more thing, he's the CEO of BBA Consult.
Bless God.
So, man of God is a pastor. He pastors, and yeah, let me not forget this. He's also the national. You see, he's a national person. He wasn't get to Aso Rock. You know, the moment you start wearing national hats, that's where he's at. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
BBA is the national pastor for Government Corpus Fellowship. He oversees the affairs of the Government Corpus Fellowship in Nigeria. And so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the talk show, Pastor BBA. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me here. I celebrate everyone. God bless you.
Amen. 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 So I'm so excited to have this squad to actually talk on this subject today. Before we go on, there is something I quickly want to show to us as to really show how powerful, how important this issue of sexual abuse and rape is. I'm going to throw some pictures out, and I'm going to just say one or two things about those pictures. The first picture I want to throw on the screen is this. Look at that person. A very young West African girl, just about 5 years. She was raped to death. This is another person. This is a very familiar face in Nigeria. People cried. It was terrible. In fact, it's one of those things I heard that I said, no, we must talk about this. This beautiful lady went to read inside a church, and as a student, university student, she was not only raped, she was murdered.
Murdered.
This is serious. This is another picture. This happened in North America. This beautiful lady you are seeing, the person beside is actually the father. The father did not just rape her, he also raped her to death. This is serious. This is another person from Pakistan. As beautiful as she is, she was attacked, raped, and also murdered. Then in case, there are people that always talk about, try to put the blame on women or whatever, then I don't know what you're going to talk about this. I don't know what you're going to talk about this person. From here,
no exposure of the body, no exposure of any part of our body.
God bless you, sir. Nothing. So if you think it's those hot legs that is actually your problem, how do you explain this lady from Somalia that was brutally raped and murdered? These are very...
My heart is broken. Those pictures.
Honestly. So
traumatic.
Very, very traumatic. Traumatizing, and to really show I would have even, showed us some videos, but I just felt, well, let me not make it too graphic today, honestly. But to really know the in-depth of what we are talking about. I mentioned that this thing has been old as humanity. I want to quickly read Judges chapter 19, verse 25. I ask that the Lord will lead us even in this discussion today in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Judges 19, verse 25. Something happened. But the men would not heed him. So the man took his concubine and brought her out to them. And they knew her. That means they slept with her and abused her all night until morning. And when the day began to break, they let her go. Then the woman came as the day was dawning and fell down at the door of the man's house where her master was. was till it was light. When her masters arose in the morning and opened the door of the house and went out to go his way, there was his concubine falling at the door of the house with her hands on the threshold, dead. So for you to know that issue of sexual abuse, this was a case in Israel where the man cut the concubine into 12 pieces. One of the civil war that happened then in Israel. Cut the concubine and send the body parts across the 12 tribes of Israel. It was for you to know how serious the issue of sexual abuse is. So I'm going to start from, maybe I should just, we're going to take turn. I'm going to start from Mrs. Kush Olubukola.
Yeah.
Olubukola Hadassah. And every one of us, I want us to really talk about this. What actually is sexual abuse? And sexual abuse and rape goes hand in hand. So
it's
what
just,
is sexual abuse?
Rape is a form of sexual abuse.
Okay.
So there are several other forms of sexual abuse, but rape is just one of it, and rape is like the most common one.
Okay.
Because there are so many other ones. There are some they won't rape. They may not rape the baby. I've heard about one. The boy, he was a cousin. He came to stay with them, and then he was putting his finger in the vagina of a 2-year-old girl.
Wow.
So he will place the girl on his laps and pretend to be watching TV, and then his finger are down in the girl's vagina. So the husband already noticed that this girl likes sitting on, because it's a form of excitement, but you are abusing that child. Because it's just like, it's not as if the girl will not grow up to that extent, but it's just too early for you to start doing those things. And then the man noticed that, oh, this boy, what was he doing with my girl? That was when they just caught him. His fingers were wet. He was even lying and making her to pull the pants and everything. So I think rape is just one. It's just a form. There are several others that people do, and it's not common. But I think rape is more common because most times it leads to death and so many other things. But there are other ones that people do, like all these people that attend boarding school. You find that there's a lot of homosexuality there, boys having sex with boys, girls having sex with girls, and all of that. So, but basically, rape itself that we are talking about today is something that I feel is more like a foundational problem, like something that stems deep inside the mind. It's not something.
Yep.
Okay. I think there's something frozen there. Sometimes we play a lot of frozen thing here. So maybe Mo, can you just continue from where she stopped?
Okay. She's actually said a lot of things that I echo as well. And just to mention that when we talk about sexual abuse, I generally just think about it as taking advantage of someone in a sexual manner. When you are in a position where the person you are dealing with is at a disadvantage, maybe they don't have the kind of knowledge that you have, or there's an age gap in age bracket, or maybe you're the boss and the person is your subordinate in the office. The sexual harassment in the office is a form of sexual abuse.
Yeah.
So when you just want to take advantage of someone in a sexual way, just to exploit them because you have that opportunity and power and privilege, that is sexual abuse. And it cuts across so many sectors: in the church, at work, in the house, even between husband and wife. A husband can take advantage of his wife sexually in a sexual manner. So I just typically think about it as taking undue advantage of someone in a sexual manner. And like she said, like Mrs. Kush said, it involves rape. Rape is like the most how will I put it? I won't say the most important. Yes, like the highest it can go. Yes, where you violate someone sexually. And it's like she said, it's rooted in the mind. I actually believe it's demonic. Yes, I do. I believe.
No, I disagree.
Well,
partially it might be demonic. But
Okay,
I
not
don't
in
want
all
us to hide
cases.
it under religious or
I get
it's a
you.
decision. You get.
I get you. I
Yeah.
get you. But like you said, it's in the mind. It's
Yeah.
rooted, it starts in the mind. It's rooted in the mind. And there's so many things that predispose to it. Like
Yeah.
I had a discussion on my wall sometime last week that men who rape people, men who are rapists, they did not start out as rapists. They were
Mm-hmm.
first innocent boys.
Yeah.
So what happened from their day one to their right now? What happened in that space of time where they went from innocent boys and they became rapists? What happened to them?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So like knowing like this detangling and knowing what transitioned can actually
Yeah.
help us to study this and then maybe see where we can have interventions, to mitigate this rape culture that is really going on, because it's a very serious problem. It's a real issue, a very serious issue.
Thank you, Moregee.
Sorry,
Sorry.
let me respond to what she said, that
Okay.
what transpired.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a matter of choice. I feel like every boy, child,
Mm.
every guy is exposed to the same. Like, if it's let's take Nigeria for an instance, we are all exposed to the same thing. The music, pornography. Everybody is exposed to the same level. It's not like one is more exposed than the other.
Hmm.
Though it might be at different degrees, but then the exposure is there in Nigeria. You can just pick up your phone and you see this one, and having sex. So I think it's more of a matter of choice, and then more of, okay, how do I handle this sexual? Because most times is in the inability to control or manage sexual urges is what leads to all of this. Because if a boy child does not understand what sexual urges, he doesn't know that he can have involuntary erections, and then when he has them, then he starts thinking that once I have erection, that means I must insert this thing somewhere. So that will lead him to doing many other
Yeah.
things, imagining some things. Maybe even it might just be a friend to him. Just, oh, maybe when Rebecca comes tomorrow, I can just, So it's just more
Yeah.
of choices,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
that's where parents come in.
Yeah.
How well informed are these kids, these children that are growing up?
Yeah.
Do they even know that sexual urge is just normal? It's like it's just the way you feel hunger that you want to eat, the way you feel thirsty. That's the same way you feel like, okay, I want to have sex. So do you eat every time you feel hunger? Do you drink water every time you feel thirsty? Even if you do that, sex is different. So these are the things we need to. So most times it's a matter of choice, because when it comes to exposure, everybody is exposed to different degree of whatever that can start it up.
Yeah. I
My,
agree with you. Sorry to I just want to interject something in what she said. It's choice. It starts with choice. It's a matter of
Yeah.
choice, but I believe it starts with information and knowledge
Yeah,
that helps
God
you to
bless you.
make
Yeah,
that choice. That helps
yeah,
you to make the right choice. Because I feel like parents have a lot. In fact, they are
mm-hmm.
like the primary people that have so
Yeah,
much to do in setting down foundation. For these parents we're talking about, what information and knowledge do they have? What
yeah,
equip How are they equipped to be able to equip their children, to be able to train their children? I feel like in fact society, the knowledge we have about sex and consent, in the past like 2 or 3 weeks, when I've interacted with people, what I have learned
mm-hmm.
just shows me that the way we see sex and consent is very different. It's
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
very,
You're
very
right.
different. So when a parent has a certain perspective about sex and content and they pass it on to their children, this perspective, is it the right perspective? So we have to look at that, like the correct perspective on sex and content, because we have people, even people that are, that's supposed to be in the
Grown
legal
ups.
system, are lawmakers, who have, it's just a general societal mindset of
God
sex
bless
and
you. Yeah,
content. So
yeah,
like, if we don't have this universal reorientation for everybody who have different roles to play, the teachers, the parents, the lawmakers, everybody needs a reorientation on what
yeah,
sex and content is, so that we
yeah.
can now start putting in interventions in place to
The right
mitigate
Mm-hmm.
this
things. Yeah.
social issue. That's just how I see it.
Yeah.
Thank you for those valid contributions. BBA, let's hear from you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate people that have spoken ahead of me. I want to first go by the term sexual abuse. Abuse for me is simply abnormal use. So for me, sexual abuse is abnormal use of your sexuality in whatever way.
Yeah.
So it can be in the area of sexual harassment, sexual assault, rape. So any way you abnormally use your sexuality, you are abusing your sexuality. You can be a man, you can be a woman. I have had cases of women raping men. I don't really know how that works, but I have actually had that before. So in a situation whereby you are not using your sexuality in a normal way created by God. Unlike the compare said, is as old as the Bible, is as old as humanity. We read of Dinah, the only surviving daughter of Jacob. She was actually raped. We heard of Tamar. Tamar is one of the daughters of David. She was actually raped. These are great men in the Bible with having covenant. It's not a function of who you are. It's not a function of how prayerful you are. It's not a function of how covenanted you are. You can be a daughter of a pastor and still be raped. You can be a Christian, a Muslim, a daughter of an imam, a daughter of a bishop, and still be raped. If a daughter of David, the man after God's heart, could be raped, anybody can be raped. And every one of us must come to fall to know that this is not a selective case. This is a case that everybody, I've been praying about it. One of my friends was saying that any man that is planning to rape my daughter, you must die before you meet my daughter. Come and see the way people are taking this thing very, very serious, especially in the last few months, because people see it as a wake-up call. This is something that you must imagine. A lady being raped in the church, and that was one we had. There is one at Akiyele local government, even at around the Ibadan, very close to Ojomu there.
About the same time.
And we heard about those things just about the same time. And one even happened last month, and we have these pedophiles all about that are messing up babies, few months old babies. I don't know what they have seen in the bodies of those babies. And I want to say categorically today that every one of us must arise and really fight this monster. People talk about consent. Yeah, people talk about consent, but for me, I think there is no way a girl that is below 18 years can understand what we call consent. There is no way. And every parent should also come to the understanding that my girl child must understand herself. She must understand when she should speak out. She must understand when she should confide. And out of 10 girls globally, 7 to 8 of them has been abused at one point or the other, and they will not speak out.
Yes, that's the thing. The silence culture.
They will mock me. They will laugh at me. And I think we must just talk about it. Let's talk about that this thing is happening in our society, and we must face it and kill it, nipping it in the bud.
Yeah.
Great.
Sorry, on that silence culture, there was one that I had recently. The woman was even begging. They involved someone like an activist, and the person was like, "Okay, we need to arrest this man. We need to take him." The next morning, the woman called. She was saying it to Yoruba Joe. Or committee Bemi, they begged me, they apologized. They said, this is going to be a family shame. Please, let's just tell him to pay a particular amount of money and then let it go. It's big. I'm preserving the girl's future. They said everybody will snap the girl, everybody will know, and they will tag her. This thing, the way this thing is already, let's just.
That's the problem.
That's the
silence
fuels all forms of sexual abuse. Once you keep quiet, that's why an abuser will continue to abuse the victim. Once they know that, and they will tell the victim, "Don't tell anybody. If you tell somebody, I will kill you." Or if you tell somebody, they would. So the silence culture, even parents are promoting it. Imagine someone telling the mom that my uncle raped me, and the mom is like, "Nobody must hear this one. Close your mouth. Nobody must hear. Don't worry. Just forgive him. You understand? So this silent, by the time this one shouts, everybody
imagine that.
That means
Or a step,
they know that
or
the thing is bad.
a stepfather raping a girl, a stepfather raping a stepdaughter.
These are very, very, very serious issues. So I'm going to actually push us forward a bit in this discussion, because you're actually saying what is already on my mind. And let me just quickly bring out some of the things guests, people that are watching are saying. This is Maureen from Kenya saying, especially during this lockdown period, rape cases are increasing because of the Idowu people in neighborhood. And Mrs. Tonya Kangbe said, you actually answered a question on my mind about whether real Christians can actually be a rape victim. Of course, absolutely.
Many.
The issue
if they are unable to manage their sexual urge, that's just the thing. If they are unable to manage it, and even pastor will rape member during vigil.
That's the perpetrator.
Yeah, that is the perpetrator, but he's talking about being a
perpetrator. Victim. Being a victim is even common now. As a national youth leader, I don't need to mention names, but I have seen many of my youth coming to me to confide in me. I'm talking about tongue-speaking young ladies, promising young ladies, coming to confide in me that they were actually raped. Wow. Sometimes I wouldn't even know how to handle it, because I have been a leader of youth for maybe 25 years now. And what I've heard about this issue of sexual abuse and rape, some of them, you see the son of a minister of God raping the daughter of a minister of God. And this is a top secret that must not be open to the public. How do we handle the case of the son of an elder in the church raping the daughter of the pastor in charge? These are issues that we must not just sweep under the carpet, because relationship is about to be soiled. A relationship is about to come to an end. If this thing gets to the police station, how will the elder face the pastor? And now they want to make it what the Yorubas, they call it okuoru. Okay, you two don't do that again.
Yeah, they try to
apologize. And that is the society we live in. It's unfortunate.
That is where the power is. Once they hide it, another person will do it, and they keep hiding, and that is why this menace keeps eating deep, and they will keep transferring from generation to generation. Next generation now they will start, because everybody is just keeping quiet. Even if everyone is keeping quiet, the church should not keep quiet. I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's why we are voicing out.
Can I just say something? Yes, about can real Christians be rape victims? So the thing is, there's something I have come to discover is that even when you are a Christian, if you don't know certain things, Satan will exploit you in those areas.
Yeah,
knowledge is very, very important. And rape thrives on proximity and trust. Most rapists are known people. There are people
which you have trusted.
People you know, people close to
you. Let me just stop you there, so that I'll just ask a question and you continue from there, because that is the next thing I was about to ask you guys. And I want more to actually start from the last statement you made. What does sexual abuse and rape thrive on? So because something, it's just like a wildfire that thrives on dry leaves. It's like wildfire that thrives on things. What are those things?
On fuel.
Exactly. What are the fuel? What are those things that fuel sexual abuse? So continue from where you are, Mo.
Okay, I think BBA and Mrs. Kush have already talked on silence. That's like one thing that is rampant. The silence culture. There's a confidence that rapists have that nobody is going to, say anything. They're going to try and cover it up. So it gives them the boldness to continue doing it, because they're not being held accountable to that act. And also they play on trust. There are cases we hear of people you don't know breaking into the houses and, raping people. But most times, rape is perpetrated by known people, people around them who play on the trust that the victims have on them. And that's why I was talking about the case where that person said, can Christians, I mean, real Christians be victims? If you put your trust in, I mean, we are human beings who relate based on trust. When there's no trust, you don't have real relationships. So if you put your trust in certain people and they violate the trust, we can't say it's the victim's fault. It's not the fault of the victim. And it could happen to anybody.
Anybody.
It can happen to anybody.
And that is.
But I also
let me mention Mo, are you done? Are you done, Mo?
No, you can say what you want to say.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to mention 2 other things. They thrive on undue exposure to sexual activities. Like if a boy child, for instance, sorry, I'm talking about boys, but even any guy is exposed unduly to sexual activities like pornography, reading pornography, watching those movies, it excites them, and that thing cooks up in their mind. I watched pornography last night before I went to bed. I watched it this morning, this evening. Before I know, I'll start fantasizing about doing this thing. Oh, this thing I watched. I need to practice it with someone. So I think that's another problem in our Praise for Where posted something yesterday about a new music that has been released by a guy. I think everybody's sharing that post now. That music, like, praise sexual abuse. That's what the music is all about. This guy is in Naira Marley or something. So when you listen to that kind of song, and then it excites your sexual, and someone that is not yet married or that is not yet ripe for those things, and they are exposed unduly to those things. So it's going to like keep the fire burning then. So that's another thing I wanted to mention.
Yes. I feel like another thing is we're talking about what predisposes to rape. What is the underlying factor? I feel like another thing is the sexual abuse of I talked about what happened between their day one to their right now. So some of these perpetrators of sexual abuse were also abused as children. That's why I mentioned that demonic part. That's why I mentioned that, because we can't take away the fact that most things are spiritual. There's that spiritual aspect, and that spiritual
the spiritual controls the physical.
Yes, and when the child was sexually abused, it probably wasn't addressed. When the boy was sexually abused, it wasn't addressed. Maybe it wasn't even known. Maybe it was just hidden, and he didn't even express it out to someone. But he grew up, and some things started taking place in his mind. And then if he didn't have the opportunity to maybe have go to church, hear some messages about sex and consent and sexuality as God wants us to do it, maybe he's influenced by peers, or he goes to school, or the media culture influences his mindset about sex and sexuality. We are not surprised that that kind of person will grow up with a warped perspective about sex and consent, and just sees it as something that he can do. See, I find that the underlying problem with this sexual abuse and rape is a misplaced sense of entitlement that the perpetrator has. In that mind is that sense of entitlement that feels like, because I have a sexual urge, I must satisfy that urge. And it does not matter who the person is.
Whoever or however.
Yes, it doesn't matter who I carry it out on. What matters is that I must satisfy the urge. Or that you see a woman and she's looking fine, or that you go and ask a woman out and she rejects you, and then you now feel like, like it is your right for you to, because
it's your entitlement.
Like a woman's body is your right. Like
exactly, because she looks beautiful, or because she looks, she dressed in a way that enticed you, then you feel like it's your right to sleep with her or have sex with her. I've heard stories of people going into hotel rooms uninvited to go and sleep with the people. It wasn't like they had any conversation about it. It wasn't like the lady invited them into the room. They just decided, oh, I've seen this beautiful lady, she looks fine, I must sleep with her. And you go as far as breaking into her hotel room Isn't that
That's
just a
crazy.
form
That's
of
insane.
entitlement?
That's
Insane.
crazy.
Insane is the word.
Honestly, I don't understand how you. I mean, you see somebody driving a Rolls Royce, and you just feel, oh, because he's driving that Rolls Royce, I must have it. That's what it
Imagine.
looks like to me.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I really appreciate all our points, and I want to thank God for all our viewers that are actually also lending their voice in this conversation. Like some talks about rape victims, sometimes I mean rapists, sometimes we're rape victims, and the need to
Yeah.
actually address the core of the issues, the core of the matter, which
Yeah.
usually from the heart. So, but I want us to still say something. I want us to explore two things. Number one, the issue of blaming the victims.
Mm.
I really want to talk about that. I want us to talk about that because most often women end up getting all the blames. Why did
Yeah.
she dress like that? You know, that's why I
Why
brought
did
out
she
some of
stay?
those
Why did she stay
pictures.
late? Why did she stay up
Exactly.
late?
As if you see a
Why
woman,
would she visit him alone? Why would she visit him alone? Those are
Yes.
what we've been
She was
hearing.
wearing a short dress.
exactly, you know,
Different
and this,
excuses.
yeah, those two things I want us to actually talk about.
Bumper short.
Blaming the victims and the sexualization of women.
Hmm.
When you see a woman, the next thing is she's like sexualized. Where are we
Like a sexual tool. I think,
exactly? So,
Bibi, do you want to say something?
Mm.
On the sexualization, I feel that our media
Okay.
is not helping at all. They
good.
want to
Mm.
advertise ordinary pen or a new book. They
Mm.
want to introduce, then they will bring girls wearing maybe swimming pants, exposing their
Annoying.
bodies. So I feel like the media is not even
That's the
helping when it
language of
comes to
media. That's the
projecting
language of
women
media.
as sexual tool. So I feel
Mm.
like they are they're a big they're a big factor.
Mm.
And you know, everybody's doing media. If you're not doing Facebook, you do online, you do TV, and then it's everywhere. Billboards. It has to be women,
Good.
fair women, naked women. You
Good.
want to promote the music, you want to do anything. So I think that's a factor on its own. And so I think that one is attached somehow to the society, like, okay, the societal influence. But let's bring it back to our homes now. Like, okay, I can't go to the society and start telling everybody, don't use women again. But even parents in our individual homes, how are we projecting these
Mm.
things? Because
Mm,
I do say some things.
Mm.
Some of these problems too start from home. How will you
Yeah.
as a woman, because you just feel like you are at home,
Most
you
of them
expose your
start from the
body,
parents.
you sit down, open your laps, your maybe 6-year-old boy, he can even draw, he
Yeah.
can sketch your vagina
Pornography,
because of your carelessness.
pornography in the family.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you just bring out your
Parental
breast, sit down and say,
example.
it's my son now. You are even laughing,
Yes.
everybody's there. And then
Yes.
you understand.
Mm.
So something is cropping up in the boy's mind. And then there are some parents too that are very careless with their sex life. Their children have woken up on them, making love several times, countless times, and they are just there making love. Because I don't even know. Because it's just carelessness too. So all these things, or baiting with boys. There was one woman, she was even saying it. People had to tell her to, please, don't say it outside. She was saying, what is there? It's in the mind. Me and my 10 years old boy, we used to bait together. What is there?
Mhm.
There's nothing. They said, madam, 10 years old boy is approaching puberty. He's already confused. He's already wondering that, okay,
mm,
what's the difference between us now? He's already having those kind of, then you are now showing all of this. That one does not even need to
Mm.
buy data to watch porn. He's already having it when he's
Mm.
baiting. So parents too should, we cannot just continue to blame the society too, because the society is made up of families. So
Exactly.
if each family, parents, uncle, brother, everybody can come up together and say, okay, are we not even doing this thing from home? How are we projecting
Mm.
these things from home
From the home
before they
front.
now get to the street there and then they are doing it? So I think
Okay.
that's the thing.
Thank you, Kush. Thank you very much, Kush, for that very wonderful point. And at the same time, I'd like to point out that there are some general myths that we have been used to from this part of the world. I am from Africa, and I see that in Africa, we believe that when we see a guy that is looking weird, looking rough, looking tough, that guy should be a potential rapist. And most times we have been proven wrong.
Yeah.
mm,
Rapists don't write it on their forehead.
mm.
And
Yeah,
as a matter of fact, most people that rape, they don't look like rapists.
Yeah.
Very
As a
true.
matter of fact, many of the
Very
rapists
true.
that I have seen, they don't look like rapists.
Very,
Number
very
two,
true.
exposure of body parts, sexuality or sexualization, as we speak it, is not the major cause of rape or sexual
Yeah.
abuse.
You're right.
Many people, they just want to display their power, their ego, their manliness to show that they can bring anything in skirt down. And they go after it. Some people, they do that to humiliate a particular lady on the street. Maybe this lady, her shakara is too much. They just discuss it in the midst of, guys. And they just want to do that. And they eventually do that. And nothing is being done. These are many more are the causes that we have seen. And we are not talking about it. Many ladies, they will go for dates. You go for a date with somebody you met on Facebook. For crying out loud. Who does that? You meet somebody on the Facebook, you don't know the person's parent, you don't know the person's background, and you are going on a date with such a guy.
BBA, true love can start on Facebook. Oh.
I know true love can start on Facebook, but you cannot expect me to go on a date.
Closed room. They can go to ShopRite.
Closed room. Yes. That is the beginning of date rape, my sister. Yeah. So many of these things, they are really creating problems for our generation. To the extent that we hear about rape cases on a daily basis. We even hear that people have started raping girls that are older than them. Imagine a 15-year-old guy raping a married woman that is over 40. I don't know. It's becoming demonic, like Mo said to me. How will a young guy just getting down, raping somebody that as old as your mom? For me, that is demonic, and we must address it. There must be a stiff penalty for perpetrators of rape. Not only the government, even we ourselves, we should be able to really. If you do this, this is what I will disown you as a son. I will disown you.
Mrs. Kush.
No, I don't.
BBA said
I don't
there
support
should be a street.
cutting off.
Let's do it on our own.
I don't support cutting off their genitals, but I just want there to be a penalty for people that are doing this. And at the same time, it's really getting out of hand.
BBA.
Let me just say something. Sorry, sir. Sorry, Pastor Paul. Thank you, BBA. I just want to touch on this part you said about penalty for rape. So in terms of what Pastor Paul also said about the blame the victim culture, one of the I think problems we have is the approach of the legal system concerning rape. If a rape victim goes to the police station, the police officer is already blaming the victim.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The police officer is already asking the victim, what did you do to predispose yourself to rape?
What did you wear?
Yes. Yeah. Why did you go to that place? Why did you go there at night?
Did you enjoy it?
These are people that you are reporting that are supposed to enforce the law.
Discouraging,
They are already, making you feel. And then another thing with rape victims is they are not always coherent, especially when it has just happened. There's a lot that is going on in
their
mind.
Yes. It's a trauma. So, yes.
Exactly. So when they are recanting their experience, they are not usually coherent.
I read about they are not coherent, they are not consistent.
Yeah. Exactly. I read about cases there was one case in the US and another one in Toronto here in Ontario, where the ladies went to the police officers to report what happened in less than 24 hours after it happened. But the officers were questioning them. Eventually, the ladies had to recant the story because the officers convinced them that they were lying, that they were not really raped, that they were not telling the truth. You can imagine that these are people who are supposed to protect the citizens and enforce the law. So when you are going to report to the police officers and they are already blaming you or making you feel like you're telling a lie, or you can't even file a report successfully, then we have a problem.
It's a big problem for that matter.
Thank you so much for those valid contributions. I wanted to quickly mention something when somebody mentioned about cutting off the genitals, and I want to quickly say if there is something to actually be cut off, it should be their heart, because the heart is actually the real sexual organ. That tolon thing
is a messenger.
Exactly. Your body only reacts to what is in your heart.
Receives the message.
Exactly. So if there is any part of the body that usually be dealt with, if something must be dealt with, it should be their heart, which is their brain.
Very true.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, and that is one of the things. I believe this is one of the aim of this talk show, to be able to actually reorientate the public and know that the issue of rape is actually a very serious one. And let me quickly go through what some of our there are some questions waiting for us already, even though I still have some other things I really, really want us to discuss. Yeah, somebody was talking about rape. Okay, people need to be oriented properly. And Sister Tony is actually asking, to what extent, I'm sure one of us talked about that, can you be romantic with your children? Does this influence rape? Things like kissing your son and those stuff.
No. Kissing is a no. You don't kiss your. You can probably peck.
Kiss or pecking. Kiss or pecking. Yeah. Pecking is good. Kissing is a no.
Kissing. No.
Can I say something?
Because you are going to excite something in him. He will continue to want for more, and that is how he will go outside. You will see 4-year-old boy. I've had a 4-year-old boy in the classroom kissing another girl in the class. He just went French on the girl, and the girl's mom was like, hey, I must take this girl from this school. This one is already starting French, and it was from home. So why should you do French kiss, exchange tongue with your boy for? I don't know how parents.
I think it's age.
4-year-old is not bad.
I think it's age appropriate.
Okay.
Like, when the child is young, I mean, from babies to like maybe when they are toddlers, I think it's not inappropriate. But when the child becomes self-aware,
you don't kiss a baby.
I also want to include
even that, medically.
I also want to include that sexuality education for young children. There's sexuality education that is appropriate for each age, and it's never too early to start. It's never too early to start. I mean, there are certain things you can teach a toddler. You don't have to spell it all out to them, but you can say things like, people should never touch you in this part of your bodies. If someone touches you here, you let us know. It's not appropriate for you to touch. It's not appropriate for you to touch people in this part of the body. It's not appropriate for you to kiss people. Only mommy and daddy can do this. Only mommy and daddy can do that. You know, you give them that kind of orientation, and you make a safe space for them to come to you and tell you things. Because that's another issue that I see prevalent, where children come and tell their parents that this happened in school.
They shun them off.
Yes. And I'm like, how would children lie about these things? How? Like, the child can't make this up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still going to talk about that, but still on this issue of kissing. Don't you think culture actually play a role here? Because, for example, and probably we might need to actually define what kissing is. Are you talking about locking lips, or are you talking about locking lips?
Locking lips, yeah.
Okay.
Not pecking.
Exactly, not pecking. Yeah.
It's fine, but locking lips is inappropriate.
Okay, fine. I just want us to clarify that, because we also have audience from different cultures and different backgrounds. And somebody was actually trying to tackle what Mo said, that things are changing too with law enforcement agencies. And maybe I can lend a voice here, because I actually saw where a Canadian police also, this case came up during the Me Too movement. I think maybe during the Me Too movement and the rest. And the police officer, somebody came to report a rape case, and you are asking the girl, did you enjoy it?
Evidence.
What kind of question is that?
What? He should be sacked. I don't know.
did you enjoy
Did you
it?
enjoy
I believe
rape?
I understand, and let me bring up somebody's question to actually probably buttress what Sister Toyin is actually trying to say. Okay, no, we're still going to talk that, but I think this person was asking, Bro David. He's actually also in Calgary here. He's actually talking about where people have actually also been framed up.
Mm-hmm.
And
That
that
one is even rampant. Yeah.
that is a very big angle, but I believe that police officers or whoever that is interrogating should, because I study psychology too. I'm a student of psychology, graduate level. I believe that there are ways you can ask people questions, leading questions that can also make you want the person to
You
just
get your
confirm.
part. Yeah.
Yeah, rather than asking, because the way you ask question as a police officer,
close-ended questions.
exactly, or somebody can actually destroy the case. You are asking a question and you are just leading, and like there have been cases where they call it false memory in psychology, where some children has actually put their parents in trouble by seeking psychologists, and the psychology was asking, okay, cast your mind back when you were 5-year-old. Did your parents, did he touch you this way? And the psychologist may begin to ask leading question, and boom, the girl will say, yes, I think my dad sexually abused me. And there are been people that went to jail only for it to be discovered later that it was even the counselor that actually asked the leading question to pull up a false memory. So this issue of roping people, where people can actually be roped, there is a thin line between consent and rape in some cases. So I want us to discuss that.
No, I don't get that. Are you saying they are similar?
No. I said,
okay.
I'm gonna actually, I have a case I'm gonna read to you. What I mean is that there are cases where some girls actually had consent for sex.
Oh, okay.
And they come
then
up to
they later
say
came back and said the guy
is rape.
It's just like what I posted. I said, since we are working on,
maybe
everybody's
compensation
making
was not okay.
lot of noise. Since everybody's making a lot of noise on penalty for rapists, there should be penalty for false alarm. Someone didn't rape you, or you walked there by yourself, it was your consent, then you want to get back to them, maybe because they dumped you or something, or they've moved on, they said they are no longer interested in you, and then you now come up with that story. That is a no-no. There should be penalty for it too.
Yes,
there should be penalty for it, because it will ruin the person's reputation. It's going to affect a lot of things that cannot even be. There's one going on presently. I don't know if we heard about it in Nigeria. Dibanj and there's one other lady. I've been following up with that story. The one what I just read last night is now different, has even changed the whole story. This lady, this lady slept naked. So I think the story has taken a new turn now. First it was a rape accusation, and now they are saying the guy said the bank's manager was the lady's girlfriend. He pimped her for him. So now the story is just different. So I don't even know where the story is ending. But to me, that's just like, because the guy has lost like 2 endorsements since this thing started. There's a lot of dragging everywhere. You know how internet can throw, that you just want to be like, let me just take sniper and go. I'm tired of this one. They've thrown hell out of that guy's life. So I was just looking last night. I said, if eventually this thing was, I'm sorry for that girl. If at the end of the day, if they find out that this case was not actually a rape case,
she should be penalized. Such a person deserves
she wanted money. She wanted money.
Because defamation of character is a crime. It is a crime. You can't defame somebody's character just for get back. There was a real life story that happened in the US. I think it was about 3 years ago. I read about it. So a guy and a girl were in a relationship, and then the relationship ended. The girl was hot and wanted to get back at the guy and decided to blame him for rape. Unfortunately for her, the guy had an alibi. The date, the time, everything she mentioned. The guy went to a restaurant with his mom, and then they took a picture at that restaurant with the mom.
And the date was written on the picture.
The mom posted it on Facebook. They didn't know anything. They were just doing it that time. This was even before she accused him. So, having a nice time with my son at the restaurant and everything. So when she came up with the rape story and all that, she didn't do her homework very well. And then the time and all of that. So the guy, the mom was able to refer to that picture on Facebook that she said they were together. The crime happened at this time on this day.
Yeah.
But according to this timeline, that cannot be true. So eventually they found out that the girl was lying and she was charged. She was charged because you can't do that to people. You water down the fight. You water down the
God
fight
bless
to
you.
end
Rape victims
when you do that.
Some rape victims come back to their whatever when they find out that they are at the top or they are rich. You didn't speak when it was roaming the streets. You didn't. Then we now saw him that he's making money. Someone just say, and I can make money from this case.
Yeah.
And
after 30
to me,
years,
that's not, you are not fighting. You are fighting for something else then.
Okay, fine. Let me quickly answer. There is something. Okay, sorry. I don't know why this thing keep going up. There is something Sister Tony also say here that I want to quickly respond to. She's saying that if he asked that, did you enjoy it? It's actually to establish if there were mutual agreement that may not be proper. I don't want to think that is true. Because the issue is this, it still boils down to a sense of blaming the victim. That I've seen cases where the fact that rape was committed is, for example, it's like me slapping you. And after I slap you, I assault you, you say, wow, that slap actually helped to set my jaw, the bone in my jaw that was dislocated. But when you give me that slap, that jaw was set in place. The fact that the slap I gave you help you to resolve your jaw, does not justify the slap. Justify it. It still shows that I still abuse you. Yeah. You understand? So the fact that a woman, because this thing is there are chemicals in the body that to some ladies it's just come up when they are being abused. There have been cases where some ladies even had orgasm when being raped. So does that, the fact that the lady end up enjoying it, does still not remove the fact that she was
not consensual sex.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was non-consensual.
Exactly. So the moment the consent is taken, rapes occur. So the moment you pause yourself, so asking, because in this case I was telling you really became a big problem. I'm sure probably that officer was fired because it was. And there have been cases like that too. If you have ever seen cases that actually went through in court, it's been discovered, it's been realized that most of those cases are where you have women as a judge. It's so unfortunate. But in most cases,
oh my God, this issue.
When men are the judge, oftentimes
they try to manipulate everything.
They start asking questions. Those questions, instead of you to actually ask questions that will really establish whether it is a rape, you are not psyching the girl to really sure. Are you the one that wooed him, or you lured him, or whatever? Let's go.
Sir, speaking of that, I found out that a lot of guys don't speak up when they are raped. We just hear it. It's just like they are abused.
Yeah.
A lady or a girl can easily say, "Oh, someone," but guys, I don't know. Maybe they feel like I don't know how to put it, but I don't know if something in their mind is telling them that, okay, although you were abused, but it's just like it's part of life. I don't know, but most guys don't come out to say maybe they've been abused or raped. But then when you now start having a lot of discussions, then they'll come up and say, because I do a lot of voice, personal voice, teenage voice, and like more than 80% of the ones that open up that they were actually raped or abused, their abusers are people that are older, like someone that is much more older, like a boy of 18 years old being abused, being raped by a lady of 25 or 26 years old, saying, and I love you. It's because you are young. That's why I cannot marry you. for we can be running things, and then she starts abusing the guy and coercing them to have sex, to make love with them. So I think guys too should start speaking up. Tell your story. Let's break this silence. Ladies are breaking it now. Let's break the silence. If someone rapes you or tries to rape you or abuse you, talk. That is why you see those judges, they'll be like, guys, those guys don't want to discuss these things because they don't know. They will say, you are a guy, you are a guy. But abuse is abuse, regardless of whatever sex.
I think another thing would be we need to create a safe space in the society for people to be able to talk about
speak up,
open up.
Because the truth is that we still have a long way to go in reorientation
Stigma.
in our society. Imagine when guys talk about these things. I don't really blame guys who don't want to talk about it because of the kind of reaction they get when they talk about these things. And you know how men are being conditioned to be macho and just suck it up and just handle these things and don't talk about it.
Psychological conditioning.
Yes. So I think we as women, we as men, we as children, we as adults, we as people as a society, church, all of us generally have to have a safe space for people to talk about these things. And I must commend some organizations, some sexual organizations who are actually helping out with these things, creating safe space for people to talk. And then when they get bullied, they rally around these people and they help them not to silence their voices. So I just feel like there is a lot to do in that area. If you want people to talk, we also have to create a safety net for them where they can talk without being judged.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. I really love all these contributions, and I think I'm also going to be. I'm also just trying. The comments are just rolling in. Sometimes I struggle to actually be able to actually keep up with some of those comments. There's another angle. We'll soon be rounding up very soon. Our time is in the next 10 minutes. We actually be rounding this up. I don't want.
Before you go to the next topic, sir.
Okay.
Vulnerability. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
It is wrong for you to rape an insane woman, a mad woman. It's still very wrong. It's a crime. It is wrong for you to rape a drunk lady, despite that she's not in her right senses. You don't do that. It is wrong for you to rape a lady that has followed you ignorantly, or can I just say religiously, to a place, as long as she has not given you that consent.
Yes.
She has not given you that consent that I want sex. If she says no or she says stop, you must stop at that point. Every guy should understand that. And like I said when I was starting this, that every lady should see every guy around them as a potential rapist until they prove otherwise.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you, BBA, for hitting really hitting those points. I think somebody actually mentioned that one of our viewers actually mentioned that those issues of vulnerabilities, you don't people that are vulnerable, your mentor-mentee relationship, teacher-student relationship, power imbalance. Somebody, you are in a place
patient
of
doctors. Doctor and the patient, nurses and the patients.
Exactly, doctor, patient, teacher, students. Exactly. You are in a place of authority. You are using your authority to actually rape people. And I love that thing that BBA said. Even if the girl is drunk and naked on the road, you have no right to violate.
Definitely.
And as a matter of fact, we actually had this discussion last week prior to this. The issue of sexual purity, abstaining from sex. So I want to believe, even when we're talking about don't do this, don't do that, don't be involved in a non-consensual sex. The talk show last week actually addresses that as a believer, thank God this talk show is actually talking to believers and also talking to the wider society. So as a believer, you have no right to the body of any person that you are not married to.
Yep.
So even if the girl has come to you and said, well, me, I just want to be free from rape. But the girl has come to you and said, today, you must sleep with me. If I say, okay, bring out a paper, let's sign an agreement. I hereby write that I have consented that this is a mutual agreement, and therefore I shall not pursue any case. I'm sure some top officials actually try to cover their back when they want to do those things, and there is a mutual agreement. Fine, you are not convicted of rape, but then what happened? You are guilty of fornication.
premarital sex.
Exactly. You are guilty of fornication.
Pastor,
Yeah.
Pastor, even if you are married to a particular woman, even if you have had sex with a particular lady before, that does not even give you the right to sleep or have sex with her without consent.
Every time you want.
You have had sex with your wife. You have had sex with your wife for 10 years. And for one reason best known to her, and I'm saying this with all clarity and all sense of responsibility. You are married, you have paid a buy price, she's living in your house, she's gotten children for you, but for one reason or the other, she's telling you that, honey, I am not in the mood today. You don't have any right to say that I'll force her into what she's not ready to do. It's still a crime under the law of the land.
Yeah.
Good. So, wow. So, we're going to be tying things up. Two things I just want us to discuss quickly in the next 10 minutes. One, we talked about that, but I really want us to really talk about it a little bit, because that is the issue of sexual abuse within the family. This is so common. As a youth pastor, I have heard cases of daddies abusing their daughters. I've had cases of uncles raping their, their nieces. I've had cases of, two people just they are uncles and their nephews. How can this be avoided? What message do you have for people to avoid incest? These issues of family members, brothers and sisters. In fact, there was one case that went on viral on social media. Sometimes these days, we almost blind
last 2 weeks also.
Recently.
Yeah, recently.
Children about
the brothers left
10,
3
12, 15, and they were doing it and they were recording themselves. What do we say about this, and how can we deal with this?
We will continue talking to them. We continue telling them about the repercussion of it. Some of them just need to understand that, like what I said, it's not about this is my uncle, this is my brother, this is a big brother, area brother, church brother, youth president, choir master, usher master. All those people that are master in the church see every one of us as a potential rapist until we prove otherwise. The earlier you understand this thing, the way it works, it's not about people that are drunk, it's not about people that are on the street, it's not about people that I don't know. Cases that we record on daily basis, there are people that you know, people that you have trusted, people that you never imagined that they could touch you, and now they are touching you. And I'm beginning to teach our young ladies what I call defense mechanism.
Great.
How do you need to defend yourself? Especially when you are in a stage of you don't know what to do. For those of us that are driving, those of you young ladies that drive, don't park your cars in a place that is not well littered. Don't go on a date with somebody we don't know. Be unpredictable. Even when you are going for fellowship, if you are going through this site before, you are known to go to church following this route. You can decide that, okay, let me follow this route today, let me follow an alternative road tomorrow. When you do that, you will not be predictable, because you never can tell people that are watching you. And as a matter of fact, you have to be smarter than people that are looking at you. Don't prove as if you are too low. You must always be ready that this thing can happen to anybody. Some people think they are they are smarter than they are. So every lady must know that I can be a victim of rape, and I must take caution. And the earlier we take caution, the better for us. Then you must have people you can call when you know that all your gas are off. Okay, there is just one thing for me to do now. You must have somebody that you can call that will tell you exactly what to do at every point in time. Thank you, sir.
Wow, you said it all. I believe we want to also lend a voice there. And if you still have points to add to what BBA said, there's still one aspect we have not really hit very well, and that is the aspect of where Mrs. Hadassah actually have her ministry on the area of training the boys.
Wow.
I've already told her maybe we're going to have a different talk show on that. But
sorry to interrupt you, sir. I just wanted to talk about where you talked about rape in the family.
Okay.
And what can we do? The intervention. Yeah. I feel like, and I don't think it's just an African thing, even though I think it's more rampant in Africa. But I feel like although I think it's improving now, but it's still prevalent, that there's a gap of communication between parents and children. I say this because children are not born with preconceived notions. They pick these things up when they come to the earth. They are taught these things. And the people that have the primary responsibility when it comes to children are parents. Parenting is a very, very serious responsibility. It's a very serious responsibility. It's not a small work at all. It's a very serious job because the parents are the first influencers that any child would come across. So I feel like children who are able to speak with their parents can go and tell them things they're experiencing, and then the parents can also intervene in this matter. That's one part of it. Then the other part of it is parents and their orientation and their mindset about preserving the secrets of the family and rating it higher than the health of their children. So when issues like this or situations like this occur, where parents are supposed to take stands and draw boundaries in place, maybe a child goes to the parent and say, Uncle so has been touching me in this way, where a parent is supposed to draw a firm boundary. If you have to cut that uncle away from your house, that he doesn't come near your children again, you don't prioritize family secrecy over the health of your child. If a parent can take that boundary right in place and prevent anything going on further, but where the child goes to meet the parent and the parent just, shoos the child away or just, slaps, just a slap on the wrist and you go and tell the uncle or something like that, you don't take a firm stand and make it a serious matter that, look, we're not joking about this thing here. Things like this will continue. I always think about what happened with Joyce Meyer and her father. We all know Joyce Meyer. We know her story.
Yeah, very well, very well.
If her mother had intervened, I don't think it would have gone on for that long. She says it herself that it took a while for her to forgive her mom because her mom felt helpless. Her mom knew what was going on, but her mom did nothing about it. And that was a child that needed protection.
She was helpless. She was actually helpless.
Yes. I feel like when we prioritize so-called family dysfunction over the safety and health of the children, we would have this problem continuing. So we need a reorientation about that because children are very impressionable. They don't know this is what they get exposed to, that they take on. That's what they soak in like sponges. So parents have a lot. It's not an easy task, but I feel like they have a lot to do in educating themselves, in educating their children, in putting boundaries in place and creating a safe space for their kids to talk to them and share with them without judgments. Very important.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
That's correct. Let me just add to what she had just said. The rapport starts from the place of education too, like information. But I was discussing with someone about educating the boys, educating them, let them know this. If you can buy books, you can get instructional materials, they can watch movies. You know, although they teach them in school integrated science, but you know how school is. The teacher just wants to come to fulfill the period time and then they go. They don't understand fully. So most times what they hear or what they know is from their friends. And what what's wrong with you? How are you feeling? I see that, you know. So what they do, that's what they just pick around. But parents now have that, just like what she said, they have that responsibility, that obligation to break it down to them, talk to them during your morning devotions. It's not every time you'll be opening the book of Psalm, praying for enemies. You can just spend some of your morning devotion on sex talk, sexual education. Okay, so guys, I want to discuss something very funny this morning. We are not reading the Bible. You might read the Bible if you like if you are Pastor BBA, but you can just go like, okay, let's talk about sex. What do you guys think? Listen to them. That is when you understand, okay, this is what they think about it, this is what they feel about it. You cannot educate them enough. Education is very, very key. Even if you look at how people do businesses, someone who is educated, if that person is running a business and someone who is not educated,
it will be different.
You will see the difference. That is how powerful education is. Education is like a freedom. It sets people, is an information. So continue to educate them. Don't stop, and start early enough. As soon as they can talk, they can understand something, start talking to them. Puberty, talk to them. When they are youth, let them know that, okay, you need to seek consent, you need to stand your get your decision right. No is no. And then the person I was talking to said, the parents, I said they should educate the children that what do they even know themselves. So this is me addressing parents out there. If you don't know, read. There's information everywhere. Buy books. Go to Google. If you don't know what is semen, what is ejaculation, you can't explain it in proper terms. Go and read about it. You don't know orgasm, you don't know anything that you don't know. Google is free.
You don't know masturbation.
The data is not just to be reading gist, Insta blog, what is happening today, who fought who, which me. That's not what Facebook is all about. So ignorance is not an excuse in this age. This is this generation is so blessed. We have information everywhere. You can download ebooks. So if you are a parent, you don't have all this information. You don't need to be a motivational speaker. You don't need to have be the train the boys convener for you to do these things. It just takes a little effort. Read up information. Okay, what are the changes that happens to a boy child? Sorry, I said boy, to children when they are growing up. What do they feel in their? How do they get aroused? When they get aroused, what can they do? Because truly, boys, for instance, boys can get what is it called? Erections, involuntary erections, without even thinking or anything. They are just responding to nature. Then the boy can just be holding his trousers like, what's happening to me? And his friends will tell him that means you need to discharge. That's your thing is full. That's the wrong information. But the child will get home and ask you, Mom, and you'll be like, don't tell me that. What are you thinking? You need to pray, you need to fast. You are thinking of bad thing. And the child is not thinking, it's just natural. Just need to inform the guy that, okay, you have erections, you have wet dreams. So education is very key and important too. So that's for.
Thank you so much.
Okay. For those who are already, because I'm very sure that some of those, our audience, some of those people going through this talk show, some of them are already inside abuse. They are already victims. What is the next thing to do? First, I will ask them to speak out to a trusted person. You don't speak out to everybody. Some people, when you speak out to them, they will complicate your life. So speak out to a trusted person, somebody that can listen to you. Then there will be memories. You'll be traumatized. There'll be some serious damaging memories that will come into you. Just try to manage it. Gather your life together. Just know that you'll be disconnected. But as much as possible, try to connect yourself with your loved ones. Try to call as many people that you can call. Socialize if you like socializing, then nurture your nature. What do I mean by nurturing your nature? Those things that makes you happy, those that will get you back from that psychological depression. Just make sure that you are back to your normal self. And it takes time to heal up. But I want to believe that if you're a believer, you're a Christian, pray to God, do more Bible study, pray to God, tell God to heal you. and with some trusted friends, your pastor, your spiritual leaders, you can actually come off it and you can be better off.
Thank you, sir. One of our viewers is actually asking me these questions. We have to talk about it, and I don't know if you can read the questions. They say, "How do we advise?" This is going to be the last question I'm going to pick. Then after this, if we discuss this, then I'm going to ask each one of us for our final remarks before we call it a day. It's already 1 hour, 30 minutes on this show. So you say, how do we advise pedophiles? Is it natural for someone to be sexually attracted to children? Wow.
Okay, sorry, let me just come in there.
Okay.
Psychologically, let me use that term. There's a belief, a set of belief like that. Okay, some people are prone to be attracted to kids, just the way they feel that some people are prone to be attracted to opposite sex due to some hormones and some things, or due to what they've been exposed to growing up. So I think what this person should do is first, because you already identified that this is a problem. I think that's the first step. You already see yourself that what is wrong with me?
Perfect.
When I see small girls, 3-year-old girl, 5-year-old girl, I'm just looking at them, the way they are shaking their bum. I'm like, oh wow, sexy. You already identified that, okay, this is an issue. Then you need to talk to a psychologist or a therapist. We have in Nigeria, we have in Africa too, so they're everywhere. You need to talk to them that this is my problem, this is what I see, this is what I'm feeling, this is how I feel about this thing. Because if you try to keep it to yourself, before you know, you start manifesting that thing, and then it's going to land you where you don't expect. I don't know if we read about this R. Kelly or what's it called. That was when eventually when he confessed, he was saying that he found that it was somehow he has one special attraction. It starts from one person, two person, then the third child, then the fourth child, and then this thing it thrives on consistency too. So if you see a therapist, they can help you to break that habit, because habit is formed over time. Sometimes you just feel like it's a problem. It's a problem because you formed that habit. It's just like someone who smokes. The person will tell you, this smoking is my problem. I can't just stop smoking. But they started one day. Only if they can talk to someone or a specialist about. So if you notice that you're a pedophile or you are attracted more, talk to a therapist, talk to a psychologist. Don't keep quiet, and then don't stop praying about it, just like what BPA said.
Praise God.
All right.
And of
all
course,
right. Let me just add this to it, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Let me just add this to it. For me, I see this issue of pedophiles as a condition that is like somebody that knows that you are not feeling fine, you are sick. So, and I would like to answer it from the pastoral point of view. I'm not answering it like from the judgmental point of view. Yes, I want to address it like this. Anybody that sees himself as a pedophile, I think that person should understand that you are sick. So what you need is healing,
Jesus.
And you need Jesus in your life. So I don't want to join the group of people that will condemn or try to crucify such people. They need healing, they need deliverance, and I think that can be arranged for by spiritual fathers.
Praise God. And that actually extends to all manners of sexual
abuse.
attractions. There are people that are attracted. I've seen somebody who was so much in love with his car, and he actually got real I don't mean fantasies, real sexual attraction to cars. There are people that have been caught sleeping with animals.
Bestiality,
bestialism, a lot. So those things, don't die in silence. If you
speak out.
Just speak out. The moment, seek for
help,
guidance, seek for help, seek for biblical counselors, those that can trusted people that can actually help you in this journey. So I really want to bless God. I believe, I can't say we have finished all that we need to say about sexual abuse. and rape. We can continue this show on a daily basis for the next 365 days, and we will still have issues to talk. So I really want to appreciate all our viewers, their contributions. I have a lot of them that have been regular on this show. Mommy Yanu, I'm saying hi to you, Grace. Omotosho all the way from India, champion in US, Eda in US, Sister Tony, and so many other people that have actually, contributed one thing or the other on this show. I really, really want to appreciate every one of us. And so, on the final note, I just want to have our guests to just give their departing, what summary of what you actually want to say to people out there, even as we bring this show to a close today. BBA.
Yes, I think Jesus is the ultimate, and Jesus will always keep his own. It is foolishness to be shameful of what is gainful. Jesus is very gainful, and we should not be shameful of him. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Moregee.
I just want to reemphasize the importance of awareness, orientation, and education, because I feel that's the foundation to it all. It's important that, and it's an active responsibility. We need to pursue this knowledge. It's something we need to intentionally do. We need to educate ourselves so that we can equip ourselves better. And it cuts across all manners of people, adults, children, men, and women. So we can do what we can to protect our children, educate our children, and protect our women, and also empower and educate our men. I feel like it's a societal responsibility.
God bless you. Thank you for that. And Madam Kush, this is Olubukola Hadassah.
Yeah, so what I would just say is, I think parents and viewers that are watching us now, I want every family to take this as an obligation, like a responsibility, that, okay, this is a point of, I need to discuss these things. I need to start talking more about it. If you haven't been doing this before, you need to start. You can even use the trending news as instructional aids that, Peter, come and see what's going on here. Or you just call your kids together that, can you see what did you understand by this? So I think family should start. Like I said, the society is made up of families. So if we can get it right from the home front, if families are doing, if each parents are playing their role, and I'm just saying this is not the role of a mother, because I think there's so much expectation. Look at your child. The father too should stand up and do this. Both parents, the father and the mother, should join hands together, and then let's start addressing these issues right from the family. Then it's going to reflect in the society at large.
Thank you very much. And Pastor Lake and Shaba, my very good friend here in Saskatchewan, Canada, is actually saying hi to all of you. I really, really appreciate every one of us. Pastor BBA, thank you. You really set this platform on fire. And you added more to the fire. And Moregee, you pour petrol, a lot of gas on this fire. So thank you guys, for all that you today. Thank you for taking your time. Thank you for spending your data. Thank you for making
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank God.
Thank you for putting this together, sir, for creating this platform.
Thank you for having us.
It was very, very informative, and it was rewarding. I enjoyed my time here.
It's a very good platform. Thank you.
It was like a panel thing.
You are blessing generations
together. I enjoyed chatting with BBA and Mrs. Kush. I learned a lot from both of you, actually. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you very much, Mo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Kush.
Thank you, my pastor.
Then that means I may have to patent this group, so that when next I bring the group together again one more time to actually discuss any issue I want to discuss that affect any of you. I'll make sure I bring all the three together, except if I'm going to be talking maybe on Train the Boys, that I may want Mrs. Olubukola to take the entire day because he has millions of things to say. But if there are other things we still need to discuss, either related to this matter or some other matter, I would try my best to bring us together. And I'm so much excited that you guys, you've given me this honor to honor this invitation. I pray the Lord will honor you in Jesus' name.
Amen.
I really appreciate it. God bless you.
God bless you too.
Yeah, so viewers, I really appreciate God.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate.
God bless you for this wonderful time. It's been wonderful talking about this issue of sexual abuse and rape. And you heard it from one of the guest speakers. Jesus is the answer for the world today. This world is screwed. This world is messed up. There are so many things, rules and regulations. We can give a lot of rules and regulations, things that we actually curb things. But the heart of the matter is the matter of the heart. So the question is, who rules your heart? The person that rules your heart is the one that governs your behavior. A fruit is known by its tree. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit. Neither can a bad fruit, be gotten from a good tree. Jesus actually made those words. So if you are here, you're listening, you've been part of this program, and you have not surrendered your life to Jesus, this is an opportunity. He will take over your heart and he will control your life. I pray the Lord bless you in Jesus' name. I just want to say this quickly before we close on this program. The next time in July, we're actually going to be meeting on Thursdays instead of on Sunday. Until that time, before I come your way with another set of guests or with another guest, have a good day.